There are some weird underlines. No, we're good. Control S, Control Q. Here we go. So now it's printing nothing. I think the pass is working, and you can now see how many seconds it's going to take to attempt 100 passwords. 23 seconds. There you go. That is not bad at all. Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to learn how to password crack Office files. So suppose you have like a Word document that has been password locked and you don't remember the password. Well, I'm going to show you how to write a Python script to crack that. That's also more useful if you want to combine it with larger programs like file crawlers and unlock everything that's locked on a computer. So that should be a lot of fun. So follow along, and remember the links to all the code via GitHub are in the description. Let's do this. Hello. So let's get started. The first thing you need to do, and I'm going to show you how to do it from a program that we actually covered in our last video, is get the files. So we're looking for these three Microsoft Office files, docx, PPTX, and XLX. They all have the same password. They're perfect for testing. And what you're going to need to do is, you can use the same script that I'm using, or you can just find a way to do it yourself. But the script that I used in the last video is called gitfolder.py, and here you just paste the folder link. And what it does, funnily enough, it gets the previous folder as well, but what it does is basically download that folder that you've just seen. Now from that folder we need everything but the PDF. We're going to put it in our current directory. We'll go ls, and then we're going to get rid of the password cracking directory, rmr password cracking, and bingo, we have a folder with three Office files. So now we're going to write a Python script that basically tests out a password in an Office file. That's the first thing. If you can actually enter a password and find out if that password is correct, then you can basically build on that and make a script that brute forces your password from a list of passwords. So how do we do that? Well, let's start with a little script. gedit. What are we going to call it? Office password. So our whole goal in this script is essentially to just enter a correct password, which is easy enough because I already know the correct password. But just something to show you while we look at it. This is the msoffcrypto tool that I found. And this is the function that we're going to use. So you're basically going to open an encrypted file using read bytes. We're going to load key password, but we're going to actually use a parameter called verify password equals true, like that parameter. That should kick up an error if the password can't be verified. Okay, so import msoffcrypto. Then we're going to need to with open, and then you go like locked.docx. Doesn't matter, we can use any of them because this works for all Office files. We're going to do the read bytes option. I mean, you can do it as f. So now f refers to this file, the bytes of the file. And then we can use the function that this function, basically we could say file, this should be indented in there, but control msoffcrypto office file. So now that's saved as office file, and we can attempt to load a password. So file dot load key, and then password equals to, let's go wrong password. This is definitely not the right password, and we're going to have verify password equals to true. I might as well just print password verified. So if I'm right, this will only ever get printed if the password is correct. So Control S, Control Q, and Python 3. What's the name of the script? Office password. Okay. Verification failed. Well, actually, that's precisely what I was hoping to see. Now I'm going to enter the correct password, which is the 100th most popular password in the world, according to the password list that I was looking at, which was Matrix. So if this thing works, then, well, Control X, Control Save, Control Q. If this works, we should actually get password verified. Okay, that's brilliant. Now let's think about what we can do to make this a lot more user-friendly, a lot better. And the features that come to mind is, one, to use this script with parameters. So basically to use sys. And so you're going to use the script and enter a file name after it. So instead of actually using that, you're going to use something like sys.argv1. So you're basically going to type in office password.py followed by, the file name. But we can also check the file type and just say, hey, like, if the file type ain't cool, then we can skip this whole process and say invalid file type or something like that. So we could say valid, or office types, maybe. Office types equals to, and then we have docx, comma, xlx, xlsx, comma, PPTX. So these are the types. And then we can say if, you can say file type is going to be sort of the split on the dot. So file type equals to sys.argv1. The first argument, if you split on the dot and then you take the very last item in that list, you're going to get the extension. So if the file type in office types, if file type in office types, then you're actually checking. I really don't want that. All right, if the file type is in office types, I'm gonna have to use spaces instead of tabs, because this is like getting out of hand. Like 8, or we can edit the IDE, but okay, bear with me. So if the file type is in office types, then we're gonna try that. And that allows us to really run an else statement that's gonna say something like print like invalid file type. Okay, I think we can save it and attempt to run it with parameters. So Python 3 office password.py, and now we can say locked.ppt, and no x, remember, invalid file type. And if we do x, password verified. Great. Now, the other thing is, we should try this thing with our own password. The password should be a parameter. So let's try that. The password should be sysargv2. sys.argv2. So that's a password. We'll go Control S Q, and now we're gonna run it like this and say password equals to pass, and then it's gonna have this error. And again, you can add some error handling to get rid of the error, but I'm just going to test this with the correct password. Matrix password verified, and that leaves us with the last little modification, which really goes on my nerves. I'm gonna have to switch from tabs to spaces. I apologize to all the tabs fans. I'm one of you, but this is too much. So I'm just gonna use 2 spaces here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The print statement is there, the else is there, and so we're gonna go 1, 2, and where the file is in types, we are going to try here and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to accept the exception that we're gonna, the message for the exception. So any error that comes up, we're basically going to say incorrect password. Now you could actually write except the actual name of the error, but I forgot the error. This is going to work as well. So that should get rid of that error message, which makes our program neater. It works with parameters. Let's see if I've entered this all correctly. So wrong password, incorrect password, RIX, password verified. Brilliant. Now, just to show you, these are the actual files. PPTX, I can open this. Let's try to open it. And the password is matrix. PPTX unlocked. All right. So what is the next step to make this, make this tool even more useful, even better? Check this out. This is a list of top 100 passwords. And I think this is a useful thing for us to take. So for testing purposes, I want to write a second brute force cracking script that runs through all these passwords. And it's going to be useful because you could sort of see how long it takes to get through 100 passwords. I mean, ultimately, that's going to be a good judge of whether our script is pretty good or not. So if I go to File, what's going on? I want to see the raw file. Yeah, raw. If we use this link, we can use wget. And this is like the most terrible name, so we can mv to passlist.txt. That's much better. All right. So now, office passwords. Let's create a new script. Actually, let's copy the current one. Office password, and we're going to call it office password cracker.py. So now we can sudo gedit office. Okay, so here we are. Here is this file, and now we're gonna find a way to essentially run through the entire list, this pass list, and try every single password. Let's do it. So if we're here, before we do any operation, we can check the file type and file types. We basically need to open the password list. And we may want to we may want to turn it into an actual list, like passwords or all passwords. That's a list. And then we're going to, with open, what do we call them? Pass list. .txt. We're going to read you. Whatever, as if I'm missing something. So when we open this, tap, we can use read lines. So lines equals to f.read lines. Now you can use split. You could split on the new line character. There's like so many ways to do this. But what's kind of good about separate lines, we can use the rstrip, because in each line, basically, we could strip the end of whatever it is. So maybe somebody's entered an accidental space after a password, not just a new line character, so we can get rid of all of that. So all passwords dot append line dot rstrip. That basically gets rid of any trailing invisible characters that might be there. Okay. I think this is the all passwords list prepared. So now, after we've opened the type, check that it's correct. Before we even try this, I think this is the place where we're going to iterate through every possible password. We're going to get rid of the sysargv, and we're basically going to go inside this with tap for pass in. Oh no, we can't call it pass. It's, I don't know, for the in all passwords. So that's the list. So now in there, now we have a problem. If we can't use tab, I'm gonna have to do this line by line. So we're gonna try and accept and print. So what am I calling it? This pass. So this is this pass. Now, what's really cool, what is really, really cool is that the password matrix is the 100th password. So we're going to basically see how long it takes to try 100 passwords. So we're going to open the file and we're going to try 100 passwords on it. Which is good, because we're not opening a file 100 times. We're opening it at once and then trying 100 passwords. I'm just thinking, should we also add a counter? We can. Counter equals 0, and password verified, except incorrect passwords, comma, counter. And we're going to counter here plus equals 1. Okay, this should be fun. Control S, Control Q. So we're going to run the password cracker. Wait, did I specify the pass list as a parameter? I don't think I did. I just opened it. Okay, I think the final version should have the password list as an actual parameter. But so what am I doing now? I think this will just work, right? Oh no, sorry, sudo get it. So what am I doing? It opens all the password lists. So all I need to do is specify that the file that I'm cracking. Okay. Python 3. Office password cracker, and then let's crack, doesn't matter, locked.docx. So it's about a password every 1/3 of a second or something like that. We could add a timer, and we don't have to print incorrect password. And we could clear the screen as it's counting, but okay, it should. Password verify, incorrect password. Okay. So there's a couple of things that I think the script could improve. The first thing, instead of opening that, I think I should say pass list equals to sys.argv. So it's going to be the next one. It's going to be 2. And I'm going to try to use that as a parameter here. Pass list. And so that way it can basically be any file that you specify. The other little thing is when you get the password correct, I mean, you really should break out of the loop. And maybe password is comma, and we can print the password, this pass. And the incorrect password can show the counter. Yeah, I think this is something I'd be happy with. So, I mean, look, frankly, if you use like specialized cracking tools, you might do a little bit better, but this is ours. It's done from scratch. I think if we deleted some of the printing, we would probably be like 20% faster, but it doesn't really matter. So the name is called passlist.txt. And there you go, it works. So the difference this time is that you get to specify the list. You could have used any list you want. We can actually record the time. You can use the time library. And that will be interesting. That's going to be the last variation, I think. I'm going to use the time library. Password is matrix, and it breaks out. So it's the 100th password. So I guess the very last thing I'm going to try is import time. And I'm not actually going to print the incorrect password. Except I'll see if I can just pass here. I've never done that, actually. Every time there was an exception, I would print something. So if I accept pass, and I actually print something like tick equals to time.time, and then when it's all over, when we've gotten out of that loop, print time taken, time.time. So maybe instead of ticks, we can make this start. Minus start time. Okay, this should be interesting. Because you could basically divide by 100 and realize like exactly how long it takes per attempt. There are some weird underlines. No, we're good. Control S, Control Q. Here we go. So now it's printing nothing. I think the pass is working, and you can now see how many seconds it's going to take to attempt 100 passwords. Nervous way. I think my goal is like half a second per password, so 50 seconds would be very happy. 100 seconds, 23 seconds. There you go. That is not bad at all. So we're basically taking 0.23 of a second per password attempted. I'm quite happy with this script. I'm sure you guys can use it. So you can use it with any password list you can find on the internet. And it's a Python script that you understand, so it's easy to modify and basically attempt some type of variation of these passwords. Python's the ultimate language for text manipulation. So there you have it. I encourage you again to take a look at the GitHub repository. So this is a collection of Python Linux scripts, and today we're working on password cracking. And you'll also learn how to do PDF password cracking. We're going to add archive, as well as a general one that essentially recognizes a large variety of password types. That's all for today. Take care and see you in another video. So well done for sticking it out to the end. If you're here, you're clearly enjoying the content, and I'd really appreciate a like and a subscribe. But before you go, I want to show you something. This is the password cracker general. In fact, the script here is, what happens when I work on the same problem for another hour or two with the help of my friend 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗓𝗡𝗙. And this is a more advanced script that has arguments that basically cracks a file automatically, whether it's docx, PPTX, or XLX, as well as a PDF. So essentially, we'll just write in the script name, the name of the file, as well as your password list. So go ahead, check that out, and then if you need to quickly crack a document, just use this script. If you want to learn it yourself, again, the tutorial following along is the way to go. That's all for today. See you in another video.